Since we love ourselves around here, I'm just gonna have another moment. And today we're having a moment for the hair. Shout out to Jen Jen's Luxury Wigs. And actually, ooh, look at that. Look at the name, Jen Jen's Luxury Wigs. And the topic of today's video is what? Can I get a drum roll, please? Luxury. Everybody, welcome. Take a seat, grab some snacks. So, how is everybody doing today? I really wish that we could be talking to each other live, but it's pre-recorded, so unfortunately, no. But let me know how you're doing in the comments. I am currently strength training, y'all, and I am tired. I think all those people who be like, oh, when you work out, it gives you a burst of energy. I think they be lying because I'm tired. But you know what? I lost 2 pounds, so I'm gonna keep going. And also I'm getting older. And ladies, did you hear that your bones start to deteriorate as you get older? Okay, that was a little bit dramatic, but you know what I'm trying to say. So apparently strength training and lifting weights will help sustain your bones and keep it young and fresh. So I'm sticking beside it. For all of y'all who do YouTube, don't you hate when you did a really good clip and then you didn't record it? That's just what happened to me, but it's fine. We're gonna keep going. So I know we all have short attention spans. No thanks to the World Wide Web and the internet. So I'm gonna get straight into the topic of today. We are getting into one of my articles, and first I have to ask you, did you read it? If you did not, the link to the article is gonna be in the description box on my YouTube channel. That's what it's called, right? Anyway, so the name of the article was Embracing Luxury as a Black Woman Has Been Hard. Here is how I'm shifting my mindset. It was a personal essay. I wrote it for Essence Magazine, the online version, in 2022. It's an oldie, but it's still a goodie, as the young people say. And I think it's an evergreen topic and even still relevant today since we see many Black women embracing luxury. I think these days, luxury and Black girls is synonymous. We have seen the hashtags, and I can't scroll down my timeline for more than 10 seconds without seeing a Black girl on a yacht, or in front of a Ferrari, or shopping in Dubai, or living her best luxurious life. And sweeties, I love that for us. So that said, I wanted to talk about my personal experience embracing luxury as a Black woman. Y'all, I feel like I need an endearing name for you. The Shade Room has the Roomies, Meg Thee Stallion has her Hotties, Monique the comedian has her Sweet Babies. I can go on and on, but anyway, we'll figure that out later. All right, so jumping into the topic. First, I want to talk about why I didn't embrace luxury. And that's the first point in the article that I am going to talk about. Now, I had so many ego stories about who I was supposed to be and what I could do and what I couldn't do. For those who are not familiar with ego stories, they're essentially stories that you have about yourself and about how you have to be and show up in the world, as well as how other people have to be and show up. And what ego stories do is they drive your behavior. So some of my ego stories as it relates to luxury were fueled by an identity that I had that was entrenched in religion. All of my people who were raised in Christian homes can probably relate with this, but we are indoctrinated with so many ideas and values about how Christian women are supposed to behave. And one of those values, or assumed values, is that Christian women should be humble and have humility. And within the church, what does humility look like? For some extreme churches, it looks like not wearing jewelry and not wearing flashy things and giving all your money to charity and just essentially living modestly. While this isn't a bad thing, it did make me suppress my desire for luxury when I had them, or made me feel shame and guilt for wanting nice things. Another ego story that I had was being around the low maintenance girl to be desirable to men. Ladies, I know that you can relate with this if you have been in those shoes. Some of my girls was busting out the womb, being high maintenance and luxurious, and I love that for y'all. Wish that was me, but it wasn't. I had lots of self-esteem issues growing up, and I felt unattractive. I believed I was ugly. So I used to focus on trying to, make myself a better person or focus on enhancing my personal qualities to make myself more desirable to men. And one of the things that used to be my selling point was that, hey, I'm low maintenance. I don't ask for anything. Yeah, you can just buy me some fries and I'll be happy. Yeah, I can pay all the bills, and it goes on and on and on. Not doing that anymore. But that ego story around, to be more desirable to men, I have to be low maintenance and I can't like luxury, also made it hard for me to embrace luxury on my own and even to receive within relationships. I didn't believe that I deserved nice things. And yeah, I thought that men would like me more if I didn't ask for them. Another ego story that I had was that I don't deserve to have luxury in my life because I don't have any assets yet. I have not earned luxury because I don't have savings, or I don't have enough invested in the stock market, or I don't have any real estate, and on and on and on. I know this is a hot, debatable topic. We always see people in the comments section of somebody's luxurious post saying, I can't believe they spent all that money on that. That could have gone towards their child's trust fund. I used to be that person too. But yeah, that was another ego story that I had that kept me from embracing luxury. And then the final one that I'm going to bring up is fear of judgment. I had created my identity so much around being this humble, grounded, spiritual, low maintenance, don't need, don't ask, don't want nothing type of girl, that I thought people would judge me if I busted out with a Chanel bag, or I busted out in a Benz, or I busted out in something that was luxurious. And by the way, I'm going to get into defining luxury a little bit later, because I don't believe luxury is all about materialistic things, but inherently, by definition, it might be. Let's now get into what shifted. What shifted and how did I start embracing luxury in my life? Honestly, it was one major thing, and that was embarking on my journey to shadow work. For those who don't know what shadows are, they're essentially the parts of you that you reject and suppress. They lie in your subconscious. Sometimes we're too afraid to confront them. And why? Because they don't align with our ego stories, which I was talking about earlier. They don't align with the person in our head that we say we are and how we're supposed to act. Within the context of this video, I found that my shadow was the luxurious version of myself. I thought that, hey, I am this humble and spiritual and grounded and non-materialistic person, so I cannot like luxurious things because it doesn't align with who I say that I am. Shadow work has been transformative for me. I will say it can be very beneficial to do it with a therapist. I am not a mental health expert. I'm just sharing my personal experience, but shadow work can be very heavy. It can be intense. It can be scary because it can kind of shake your whole foundation about who you think you are. And it can take a lot of work to integrate your shadows and your current self, and also to challenge your ego stories. Challenging my ego stories around luxury is what helped me to start to embrace it. And how I did that was through a mix of journaling and observing myself. In terms of observing myself, I'm gonna start backwards. I would pay attention to when I was extremely judgmental towards people, and not just within the context of luxury. I observed all the different parts of me that was critical and judgmental. And I noticed judgy Elizabeth used to always have passing thoughts, or even thoughts that I voiced, like, oh my God, why is she spending all that money going to Turks and Caicos? I don't know if I said it right, don't judge me, but why she spending all that money going there? She could be saving towards her retirement. Or, oh my God, I can't believe she bought her son Gucci. I hope that he has money in his trust fund. Now, while this is a debatable topic about, whether you should be spending money or not when you don't have any savings, that's besides the point. I had to ask myself why I was so critical and judgmental, and it was because there was a suppressed part of me that wanted to do that too. I wanted to feel comfortable and confident just spending money on nice things and taking myself to nice places and essentially spoiling myself. I didn't feel comfortable doing it. I had too much shame around it. That's what shadow work taught me about why I was struggling to embrace luxury. So it took a lot of work to unlearn that shame. And this is where the journaling piece came in for me. I wrote down all the beliefs that I had around luxury and all of the ego stories I had about why I couldn't have luxury. And then I traced where those ideas came from. Some of them came from religion, as I mentioned. Some of them came from my upbringing and my parents and values that they taught me. Some of them came from societal stereotypes and values, but barely any of them came from me. So I had to say, okay, who am I now? That's the other Elizabeth, or the Elizabeth that was crafted by everyone else. And what do I believe? And I believe, are you listening? I believe and I know that I deserve nice things. I deserve luxury. And it's really important. I know we like to just talk about saying an affirmation, and I do believe affirmations work, but you also have to do the deeper work of stuff like this, shadow work, and uncovering why you have these beliefs, and also healing part of yourselves, because shadow work also has a huge healing element where you may need to heal that trauma, as well as that shame that is creating the shadow in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Alrighty. After doing my shadow work, the next step that I took to help me basically start embracing luxury is joining a Black Girls in Luxury Facebook group. Now, what y'all gonna learn about me on this little YouTube channel is Elizabeth loves a Facebook group. I just love it. There's always so much information in there. When I got divorced, I joined a Facebook group. When my son got diagnosed with autism, I joined a Facebook group. I'm in tons of them. But anyway, I found a Black Girl Luxury Facebook group. Shout out to y'all. And it really, really helped me. It can get a little toxic in there. But initially, it helped me to embrace luxury because I was seeing so many Black women who were living luxurious lives. Now, it's questionable whether it's true or not because we know people be lying on social media, but nonetheless, it gave me kind of the vision that I needed to see of Black women doing the things that I wanted to do and not feeling shame about it. You know, I don't interact in the group as much anymore because of my next point that I'm going to bring out, defining luxury. There's always arguments in there about what luxury is, people tearing each other down. Girl, that little tacky wig ain't luxury. Girl, my Chanel is more expensive than you know, just like petty stuff. Don't need that energy. But good segue to the next point. I had to define luxury for myself. And the good thing that came out of seeing all those debates in that group is I had to ask myself, Elizabeth, what does luxury mean to you? Because people would make posts in there like, luxury to me is, you know, making myself a nice meal or coming home to clean sheets. And truly, even though some people argue that's not luxury, that can be defined as luxury too. But let's look at the definition of luxury. So out of curiosity, I looked at the origins of the definition, or rather of luxury, and it actually originates from the Latin word luxuria. And what that means is excess, extravagance, profusion, delicacy. So as we can see, there are some words that kind of can connote materialism or consumerism or whatever else in the original or rather the origins of the word luxury. But that said, as we do, you can always redefine something and make it mean whatever you want it to mean. So I have found that luxury for me it includes materials. I like materials. So it includes material things, but it also includes convenience. I will sometimes pay for grocery delivery, Instacart. And y'all know y'all wrong for hiking up them prices on the app, but I will sometimes do the Instacart so I don't have to drive to the store. For me, that is luxury. Creating ease in my life. Oh my goodness, that's something I'm currently and continuously working on. How can I make my days more easy? And that often involves spending a little extra money. Those are things I do as well. So I might buy some tools or pay for services just to make my life easier. So yeah, I'm defining luxury for myself, and it includes all those things. And I don't have to be ashamed about any of it, baby. None. I will add that I have had to reevaluate my values to ensure that they align with my definition of luxury. And I'm not going to pretend I have it all ironed out. I often find myself at a fork in the road. So for example, I do believe in sustainability, and I do believe we need to do better with the environment. But believing is one thing, springing into action is another. So I often have dissonance or internal conflicts around things like some of my designer handbags. How sustainable are they? How ethically are they made? am I who I say I am if I say I'm about sustainability, but I'm shopping at wherever that doesn't make clothes sustainably every other week? I also want to add, in terms of values around luxury and aligning with those values, I believe that as Black people, our idea of luxury is heavily influenced by white, westernized ideas of luxury. And that's something I'm still mulling on and trying to reconcile with. But we do live in a globalized world, so it is expected that we would be influenced by our environment and by white, westernized culture. However, I am pro-Black, so I would like to embed my Black values into my embodiment of luxury, if that makes any sense. And I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. One place or starting point for me has been looking at my own personal culture. I know Black culture is eclectic and multifaceted, and it's nuanced, and it doesn't look one way. But I personally am Nigerian, and I know that I can find ideas of what Black luxury looks like by looking at Nigerian culture. I have roots in Ile-Ife. I'm Yoruba, and Ile-Ife is an ancient Yoruba city. Yoruba religion believes that it was the first civilization. That's up for debate, but I think it is. So yeah, by looking at Ile-Ife and just Yoruba culture at large, I get insight into what luxury looks like historically, and this is pre-colonization. And by looking at the kings and the queens of Ile-Ife, we still have kings and queens ruling. For y'all who ain't see Zaddy, the current Oni of Ile-Ife, he is so fine. But yeah, he's the 51st and current Oni. Oni means king, by the way, and his name is Oba Adeyeye Enito Ogunwusi. Yoruba is not one of my first languages, so sorry if I pronounced that wrong for all my Yoruba people who might be watching. But yeah, if we used him as a prototype of what Black luxury looks like, baby, he is luxurious. The abada, which is the native that we wear in Nigeria, it be crisp and looking expensive. He just drips and oozes luxury, in my personal opinion. So if we're using that as a prototype, then we might have some intersection with Western ideas, I guess, of luxury. It's just expressed differently. And especially as a Yoruba person, growing up, I saw my aunties wearing the finest laces. My mom and many Yoruba women I know of collected gold. So they, in their own ways, are luxurious also. You know what I'm saying? So I guess there's some overlap there. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Tell me what your views are on luxury, where you struggle, where you're able to embrace it. If you've never struggled, maybe you've come from a luxurious household or your parents are luxurious people and it just ain't never been a thing to you. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are and kind of how you're moving through that and how I can learn from you also. And in saying this, as I say with every lesson or learning, it's not perfect. I still have moments of shame. My shadows still come lurking, still pop out, still try to get me sometimes. But I just remind myself that I deserve nice things. And honestly, I truly, truly believe it now. And it shows. Can you see it? It shows. The last thing that I'm going to discuss in terms of how I've enabled myself to embrace luxury is budgeting for the luxury. My values, the difference now, I will say before I get into this, is that I try to avoid judging people for however they choose to spend their money. It literally is none of my business. And guess what? I'm now spending my money how I really want to spend it. So I don't need to be judging anybody else. But I still do have inherent values around how I spend my money. And one of those things is I believe I need to pay myself first. I am never going to feel good about spending all my money on luxury or enjoyment and not saving money for the future, because I personally just believe that that's important. In one of my videos, I discussed how I saved $100,000 in 2 years. And that was one of the reasons I started, embracing luxury a bit more too, because I felt a bit more financially stable. And that's just something that I personally needed. Ego story aside, just practically, I just needed a financial cushion before I start spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on things that are not going to save me if I can't pay my rent, or my car get repossessed or whatever. Sending it back to sender. Very Nigerian saying. But anyway, so I started budgeting for it. And I know everybody's budgeting system is different. I am not a stringent budgeter. And essentially what I do is I pay myself and then I'm free to spend the rest of my money how I want to. So yeah, I allow myself to buy nice things, but I just make sure that I paid myself first. And then it's like, girl, drop them dollars like it's hot. Do what you want with the rest of it. And that's that. To all of my beautiful women watching, it's okay to like nice things. It's okay to be high maintenance. I know the podcast bros are going to start crying in the corner and their fangs are going to start coming out and they're going to come and try to eat us. But we deserve nice things, okay? All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in and listening, watching. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, chocolate kisses. Oh, yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe.